Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to learn the line-by-line meaning and do a detailed analysis of Wilfred Owen's poem Strange Meeting. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. Let us know a little bit about the poet Wilfred Owen. He lived between 1893 to 1918. He is a renowned English poet known for powerful war poetry. He was a specialist in writing war poetry, and do you know why? Because he was one of those people who had had a first-hand experience of war, and it is because of this that he portrays such a realistic image of the horrors and the futility, the uselessness of war. Now, Strange Meeting is a poem that is written during World War I. It is written in the year 1918, which was also the final year of Wilfred Owen's life, and it shows the personal experience of Wilfred Owen. It's a document of his personal experience. It talks about the disillusionment, the lack of aim in a person's life when a person is fighting war, and it also talks about the brutality of war. Now let me give you an overview of the poem. So the poem explores the idea of an afterlife. There are two enemy soldiers who have killed each other in a battle and they meet in a hell-like landscape. The poem delves deeper into the psychological and the emotional trauma that is faced by soldiers. At the same time, it questions the purpose of war and the futility or the uselessness of war. I have also made a detailed video on war poetry. I'll provide the link in the I button above and also in the description below. You can also have a look at war poetry, the video, so that you will be able to understand better the idea of war poetry. Now, what is the central message of the poem? The poem in general talks about the futility and the senselessness of war. It portrays the horrors and the suffering that is faced by the soldiers on the battlefield. At the same time, it is also challenging that glorified image of war. People think that when you go to fight a war, it is a matter of great pride, respect and glory. True, it is, because you are representing your country. But along with that, there are a lot of consequences that have to be faced, and war is no longer a solution. Through the encounter between two dead soldiers in this poem, it explores the idea that all soldiers, irrespective of the nationality, they share a common humanity and they are all victims of the same tragedy, that is war. It ultimately conveys a message about war and laments the loss of youth, innocence and the potential for a better world. Imagine the youth has so much of energy. Instead of investing their energy in fighting a real war, if their minds and energy can be invested in another better pursuit, what will happen? The overall nation will improve. But this is something people would not understand, and physical bloody wars were fought in the past. Now the poem begins in stanza 1 with the narrator describing how he had managed to escape the battlefield and he entered a dark, deep tunnel which had been formed by the damage that had been done to the soil, to the earth due to war. He mentions that in this tunnel he sees sleepless soldiers. See the line over here, through granites which Titanic wars had groined. So Titanic wars over here means huge wars, where wars which did not end for days, and because of that there was a lot of shelling. Granite over here could have two meanings. One meaning is the tunnel that he enters is made of granite, and at the same time it could also mean the granite is a kind of a bomb which is used during war. So because of that also, when it was dropped on earth, it made deep holes in the earth and it made a tunnel-like formation. See, here is an image for you of the granite, which is a kind of marble that is used to make houses also, but this tunnel that he is talking about is perhaps made of granite, and at the same time he is making a reference to a bomb which is also called a granite, which was thrown during war, and because of the blast from the granites it used to make dark deep tunnels. You also have the image of a tunnel which is also known as trench. Now if you go on to Google, you will see that a lot of stories about war poetry also include the mention of the word trench. The word trench means tunnel. If you Google the term trench warfare, you are going to get a lot of information related to war on it, because the soldiers, in order to take shelter from the excessive bombing and shelling and the shooting from the guns, would go and hide into the trenches, and they would also go from one place to another through these trenches in order to go safely from one place to another. At the same time, they would also often take shelter in these trenches when they were injured, to recover, to heal themselves. But at the same time, because they were so terribly wounded and they would not get sufficient environment within which to heal, many soldiers, it has been noted, would die in these trenches and these tunnels. Now in stanza 2, we see that the poet is saying that he mentions that there are sleepers. These sleepers are people who are either dead or unconscious soldiers who are found in this tunnel. As the narrator examines these sleepers or the soldiers, one of them suddenly wakes up and looks at him with recognition and sadness. He is able to recognize the narrator, and he is also sad. His eyes reflect a lot of sadness. Now this soldier, who had just woken up, raises his hand as if to bless the narrator, and the narrator realizes from the expression, from the body movement, the restricted, injured body movement of this awoken stranger, that they are in hell. This realization of the fact that he is in hell comes from the dead, the sad, gloomy, painful smile of that soldier who has just woken up. Now at this time, when the soldier or the narrator looks at the face of that almost dead soldier, he sees the horror of the entire world on him. He notices that there is no blood on the soldier's face, and also at the same time he reassures that awoken up soldier that there are no sounds of war coming from above. The upper ground means from above. This trench, this tunnel was an absolutely protected space. He reassures the soldier that there is no reason for him to mourn, to be sad. But the dead soldier responds by explaining that the cause for him mourning or being sad is not the immediate suffering that he is facing because of the war that he has fought, but the years that he has wasted and the hopelessness, the sense of uselessness, futility that has been brought because of the war. He reflects on how he once looked after beauty and joy in life. He was looking for things which would make him feel happy, which were beautiful, but now he is stuck in a place which does not have any kind of beauty. The idea that he had about beauty, the glory of war, has all been shattered, and when he is practically in the situation of war, there is everything but glory that he finds over here. Now in the next few lines, he is not talking directly, he is first talking in a roundabout manner. He is saying that if I would have been alive today, because of my happiness, other people would have also been happy who were there around me, and even if I would not have done something of a great deal, people would still have missed my presence. But we all must die now. He's saying, I mean the truth untold. That is, all this while he's just trying to come to the point directly, that is, no one tells the actual thing that happens when a war is fought. The idea of war is always glorified, especially in front of the soldiers. It is told in a very glorified manner so that they can get more soldiers to go and fight the war. Now men will go content with what we spoiled. That is, when we have spoiled everything by fighting the war for the nation, it is other people who are going to feel and celebrate the victory, because we have already died, just because we fought the war and it is we who brought victory. after fighting the war, our reward was that we had to face death, but it is other people who are going to celebrate victory because of the efforts we made, because of the life we gave up of ourselves by fighting in the war. And if people are discontent, if they are not satisfied, they are further going to get more soldiers to fight war and spill blood all over. They will be swift with swiftness of the tigress, and all this action, whether of celebrating the victory after war or fighting more wars, will be done as quick as a tiger. Just as a tiger is quick in finding prey, similarly that is how quick they are going to take the decision. None will break ranks, though nations trek from progress. So here he is saying basically that no soldier or no person, even though anyone has realized the real motive that is there behind war, about the futility of war, no one is going to gather up the courage to speak against the government, against the ranks means against the government. Everyone is still just going to go with the flow, and if they are celebrating victory, people will all participate in the victory celebration, or they are going to further get involved and participate in fighting the war. The speaker over here is reflecting about his past qualities. He had qualities like courage, he was brave, he was fearless. He also had mystery, that is, he had a sense of depth in his character. He continues to describe the qualities that he had in the past, that is, he had wisdom or knowledge and understanding. He also had mastery, that is, he had control over certain expertise in certain areas. He had specialization, but he is expressing his regret that he missed out on participating in the retreat or withdrawal of the world from a situation or a path. He could not save the world with the mastery of knowledge in the particular subject matter that he had. He further says that the world is retreating into or going back into empty or futile fortresses. Citadels over here means fortress or a fort, and vain means empty or useless. So he's saying that the city or the people lack proper defense system. It implies that the world is moving towards meaninglessness and dangerous things. At the same time, he also describes a situation when a significant amount of blood had got stuck in the wheels of the chariot. This imagery also once again implies the brutality and the bloodshed of war. He envisions that he is going to stop and clean the blood that has got stuck on the chariot wheels. Again, this symbolizes his desire to break away from the idea of war. He does not want to take part in war, but he says that what can a mere soldier do in trying to stop war? He expresses his willingness to generously give himself, to pour out his spirit, to do something genuinely nice for the nation, but all he has to offer as a soldier is to fight in the war and to give up his life so easily. So he clarifies that he would have shared his wisdom, courage, his purity, but he is helpless. All that he has is he has received wounds or injuries. So it suggests that there are a lot of mental and emotional scars that come with war, that cause suffering to soldiers even when they have not physically been wounded, but it causes a lot of psychological damage to the soldiers. In the final stanza, the dead soldier reveals himself as the enemy that the narrator had killed. He recalls a previous meeting or encounter that he had, where the narrator had killed him ruthlessly, without reluctance, without thinking that this person is also a soldier. Even though he is his enemy, he is also a soldier, a human being like him. And he suggests that it is time that he should rest now because he is no longer alive, and that is also a way to conclude the poem beautifully by Wilfred Owen. Let us quickly have a look at the 4 more important themes in the poem. Firstly, the poem is talking about the futility of war, that is the uselessness of war. Trust me, the idea of fighting a real battle, a war, is absolutely senseless. So many buildings, lives of people, families, everything is destroyed, and it takes years and years for restoration. So what is the point of spending so much of time, effort, money, along with losing innocent lives in the face of war. And at the same time, the poem talks about reconciliation. The very fact that there is an encounter shown in the poem between the two enemy soldiers shows that they are having a hope for reconciliation to make everything peaceful. Even in the midst of a conflict, even when both the sides are not being able to reach a common point of agreement, there is still hope. You should still keep trying, because even the soldiers believe that, war is not a solution, because they are just, people who are supposed to be doing their duty, so they are doing their bit. But the soldiers, it's coming from their mouths that, war is not a solution at all. The poem emphasizes on the idea of humanity and empathy. Ultimately, I know it is the duty of the soldiers to defend and protect the nation, but at the same time, if something can be resolved in a peaceful manner, then that should be the, target of the government. And over here, because we need to realize that soldiers too are human beings like you and me, so we need to be empathetic towards the soldiers. They are not made of iron that they'll go fight the war and still nothing will happen. And at the same time, the poem is also talking about loss of innocence. Owen over here is exploring how war takes away the innocence that is there in the individuals. At a very young age, people are subjected to cruelty, death, bloody, war. All this takes away the natural way of living. So why should soldiers be, devoid or deprived of this kind of an opportunity to behave and live like normal human beings? So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.